You hear the first plane like a bad dream, a distant, impossible roar, and the world tilts. Smoke moves like a living thing. People run. Sirens scream. The sky turns to ash. Now imagine you are the one who turns the other way. If everything around you collapses, would you run away? Or would you run toward the people who can't run?
Wells Crowther was only 24 years old, a young equities trader working in the South Tower. But beyond Wall Street, he was also a volunteer firefighter, someone who spent weekends training to save strangers. Survivors later remembered him not by name, but by one detail: the red bandana he always carried.
I taste metal and dust. My shirt is wet with sweat, and something else, the heat climbing the stairwell like a hand. I pull my red bandana over my mouth because the smoke bites, and I start counting the steps because counting keeps panic from swallowing me. The stair is a river of bodies. People clinging to the rails, coughs like broken machines, a baby crying somewhere below. I don't know these people. I know the stairwell. I know how to move in it. I used to slide down ropes at the volunteer firehouse on weekends. In an instant, a piece of that training becomes the only language that matters. I go low. I take one woman's arm, then another man's shoulder. I tell them to breathe with me. I say things that are not about the future, only how to get to the next landing. I find the sky lobby and I push people out onto the light. Then I turn back into the dark because someone is calling for help. Each time I climb down, I carry someone, guide someone, put my hand on someone's back and walk them down another flight. My red bandana becomes the signal people look for, not because of my face, but because it means a steady hand.
Rick Rescorla was the head of security for Morgan Stanley, a decorated Vietnam veteran, and someone obsessed with preparation. Long before 9/11, he insisted that every employee practice evacuation drills again and again, even when they mocked him for it. On that Tuesday morning, those rehearsals turned into survival.
There's a rhythm to evacuation drills if you've done them enough. The bell, the bullhorn, the patience in the voice that mustn't sound like panic. I had been a soldier. I'd watched men fall and I'd taught them to keep their heads. The towers were not a battlefield I wanted to fight in, but when it started, I found out a plan can become a lifeline. I put on my helmet and my bullhorn, and I started to sing. Not because it was funny, because people needed a sound to hang on to that wasn't screaming. I moved through floors where the lights were gone, and the air tasted of rubber and smoke. We had rehearsed this. Morgan Stanley employees knew the drills because I made them know. Some of us joked about it back then, but the jokes saved lives. We had a route, a cadence, deputy leaders at every floor. I kept singing old songs between directions, short, steady lines that blocked out the chaos. When I saw a group freeze, I walked into the center and started a verse until they walked again. By the time the building got ugly, most of the people I had shepherded were already down in the daylight. We had practiced evacuation until it was reflex, and that reflex became survival. Many walked away that morning because someone had prepared them and then refused to flinch. I did not go home. I stayed until I could not stay.
Far from New York, high above Pennsylvania, another group of heroes made a choice: the passengers of United Flight 93, among them Todd Beamer, Tom Burnett, Mark Bingham, Jeremy Glick. Ordinary men and women who learned in the sky what had already happened on the ground and decided to fight back.
I feel the plane hum beneath me like a living thing, each vibration a warning I can't ignore. The cabin lights are too bright, too sterile, and yet I can't look away. Around me, people whisper fragments of news that sound impossible. Towers, other planes, the Pentagon. My stomach twists, my hands shake. I phone my wife because I need to hear her voice, to remind myself that the world I'm leaving behind is still real. Then the realization hits us all. This isn't an accident. The plane is a weapon, and if we do nothing, it will strike somewhere else, somewhere terrible. Fear washes over me, but underneath it, a strange clarity forms. We have to act. We gather in corners, speak in hushed tones, plan, improvise. Some call their families, some pray. I feel the weight of each life around me strangers, yet suddenly my responsibility. Are you ready? A voice asks. I answer not with a prayer, but with a promise. Let's roll. We rise as one, lifting chairs, holding our ground, moving toward the cockpit. Metal scratches under our palms, adrenaline burns in our veins. The struggle is chaotic, terrifying, but necessary. And then the plane falls, not where it was intended. It crashes into a field in Pennsylvania. Everyone on board dies, but countless others live because of our choice. Even in that final, harrowing moment, I feel a strange pride. Ordinary passengers, ordinary lives, made the decision to fight back. We refuse to sit silent. We refuse to be victims without choice.
These voices are not meant to be an archive of exact words. They are a way to step inside choices people actually made. A trader with a volunteer's training who became a guide, a security chief who had rehearsed evacuation drills until the steps were reflex, passengers who stole back control with their last breaths. These were ordinary people whose decisions became extraordinary. If you feel anything now, let it be the uncomfortable, electric question we began with. When the world collapses around you, what will you do? The hidden heroes of 9/11 answered that question in ways big and small. Some of them gave their lives. Many simply walked away the next week and returned to the quiet of their days. Their bravery did not always ask for medals. It only asked for action.